We'll have a moment of silence, please. Could we please have roll call?
Clifford Adams.
Here.
Patty Anderson. Carrie Armagost. Here. Wesley Baum.
Here.
Bob Best. John Burke.
Here.
Brady Fight.
Here.
Todd Gallagher. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Can I have a consideration to waive and approve the official meeting minutes from March 16th and the voting meeting April 13th?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Do we have any public participation this evening? All right. We're going to move on to presentations. We'll have Maddie Myers, our student representative, first.
Sorry.
So this month for April, we have quite busy lower end of my page, so I apologize for taking up a lot of your time. So in student council this month, we are planning for Powder Puff on the 30th, the track condition permitting, of course. We're making appreciation gifts for school bus drivers, nurses, teachers, and the principal. We're in the middle of planning our 6th grade transition, helping the 6th graders smoothly transition into the high school life. And then we're also starting to plan Spring Fling for in May. In our art department, we are having an art show on May 13th, and they're also helping with the musical set. For sports, our boys 4x1 team broke the school record, and our softball senior night is coming here up in the first week of May. Now here's where it gets a little bit long. So we had PSSA testing start today on the 20th. Our Do Something Good Club has been giving gifts to teachers and school-wide recycling, and they're also doing cleanup and the PALS program. Model UN had their first trip with Mr. Nelson and Mr. Krautbauer. They practiced skills such as leadership and critical thinking and about global challenges in the world. They were also able to have different global challenges and discuss different solutions with other students among the different Model UN groups that were there. We had 2 students from our school go to Coral Gables, Florida with our 4-H electro tags, which I have my shirt on. We placed 7th in the top 8 alliances for the playoffs, and then overall we had 12th out of 57 teams. Prom is April 25th from 6 to 10. Our prom march will be held here at in the cafeteria at 5:30. Mrs. Fox and Mrs. Bashline and Mrs. Namelli are all working with prom committee to plan and decorate for the dance this Saturday. Our PBIS award is an outdoors day with food trucks and outside games on the 21st of May. And then finally, our weightlifting club had a weightlifting meet in March, and they were able to raise $130 for new equipment in our weight room. So there's that. Does anybody have any questions? No? All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Next, we're going to hear from Nancy Rounsley, our project manager.
Second, and I will screen here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Just to get us started, we are moving forward. Podcast room and the sound room are pretty much finished as far as finishes are concerned. The ceiling grid, ceiling tile light fixtures, trim is installed, and they have Doble will be back the week after the seating is in to finish up some of their installs. Out in the corridor, the painting's complete, base. The stage floor was sanded, and the stain was put down. and wood paneling in front of the stage was installed. They protected the stage floor as well. All the LVT floor has been installed. The seating will be starting this week, and then they'll finish with the carpet after the seating is in. They finished up some of the electrical trim, so all the box trim have been installed. And as I said before, Doble and the Dable cabling has been finished up. Now they're waiting for Doble to come back and do their final installs. And this morning, the house lights, the bulbs were installed. And VLS got their delivery of a lot of the theatrical lighting. And they started putting the lights together, and we'll be working again tomorrow prior to the seating. In addition, for the roof, we did have an infrared scan completed. And then they did find a couple of areas of concern. They came back last week to do some probes, and we received the report over the weekend, and that's been forwarded to the district. As far as our remaining things, they'll finish up with the continue with the theatrical lighting. The seating, as I said, that install will start on Wednesday. On the 4th of May, the curtains will be installed. In addition, installations, and then their presentation and startup. They also some fixture and lighting control training happen this week, I believe. And then as far as the schedule's concerned, still will look like we're going to be finished in May. With that, I will open up if anybody has any questions.
I don't think we have anything for you, Nancy.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I appreciate you being okay with me joining remote, and next month I will be there in person. Have a good night. Take care.
All right, thank you, Nancy, for that update. Next, we'll hear from Jessica Nanelli regarding our STEM team.
Hi, my name is Jess Namelli. I teach elementary art and I co-teach STEM with Steph Fast. I'm here tonight to introduce you to one of our 8 teams who competed in the STEM Connects Design Challenge last month. This regional STEM competition is held each spring by the IU at the Clarion YMCA. There were 8 school districts who participated. I believe this was our 4th year in participating and our best one to date. We came away with a 3rd place in the 7th and 8th grade division, a blueprint award, 2 presentation awards, and a 1st place in the 4th and 5th grade division. The team who's here tonight, the Eco Warriors, are the 1st place winners who have qualified for the state competition in Harrisburg in May. They also were recipients of one of the presentation awards given. They are Gwen Heil, Bristol Caldwell, Corey Chrisman, and Jensen Elder. Tonight we have Gwen Heil with us, and these young ladies were required to follow the engineering design process to invent a machine that would improve factory production in a sector of their choice. Once they chose an idea, they were required to build a prototype out of Connects, draw a blueprint, keep a notebook to track their progress, and write a presentation. Before they attended the competition, they had to tear the prototype apart, and at the competition, they had 2 hours to rebuild it from scratch. New pieces could be pre-assembled. And once it was complete, they presented to a panel of judges. Tonight, our winning team would like to share their presentation with you in hopes of being able to attend the state competition next month.
So here's my presentation me and my team made about our prototype here. Here's a slide of all of our team members. Me, Jensen Elder, Corey Chrisman, and Bristol Caldwell. For this side, we noticed a huge problem, and it's that factories are wasting tons of plastic every single day. Some factories are Coke, Pepsi, Mars, Nestle, and Nike. They're some of the top polluters over the years, and one company that really stood out to us was Nike. They do one-use plastic, and that is bad for our environment. We knew we needed to do something about it, so we found a solution. We decided to make a prototype that would fix this problem. It's a prototype that recycles plastic and makes it into stuffing. Now you may ask, why stuffing? We decided to make it into stuffing because it could go into stuffed animals, it's easy to make, it's healthy for the environment, and it's only 3 steps. The process. For a prototype, the plastic drops into a grinder that shreds the plastic into tiny micro pieces of plastic. Once those pieces of plastic fall, they are onto a conveyor belt that is very hot and that melts the plastic. At the end of the conveyor belt, there is a piece of metal that pats down and slices the melted plastic onto small micro threads. Once it falls off the conveyor belt, there is a basket at the bottom that collects all of them. We chose Nike because we saw that they are one of the top polluters in the entire world. We knew that that was unhealthy for the environment, and we knew that we needed to fix it. We all know Nike as a shoe brand that has really nice shoes, and most of us probably own a pair. But that soft cushioning is hurting the environment bad. People really underestimate the power of plastic. Every single day, 2,000 truckloads of plastic goes into the ocean. 33 billion pounds of plastic goes in the ocean each year. We feel strongly about this topic because honestly, it is very sad on how much plastic is in the ocean. It's disappointing that most people are only using a plastic water bottle once, and then it's all done and being thrown away. You can help by using things like plastic bags and water bottles more than once. You can also help by making cool arts and crafts projects out of plastic. This is a really fun one that I like to do with my brother. You can help by using insulated cups because it keeps your drinks warm and cold, unlike plastic water bottles, and they're reusable. Over 90% of plastic is made from fossil fuels, with less than 10% actually recycled. Humans consume about a credit card's worth of plastic or microplastics every week through food and water. 5 trillion pieces of plastic are currently floating in our oceans. Microplastics have been discovered everywhere, from the deepest oceans to the top of Mount Everest. By 2050, it is predicted that the ocean will contain more plastic than fish, and approximately 40% of all plastic produced is just used once before being thrown away. Thank you. It'll move right in.
Well, thank you, Glenn, for that presentation, and good luck at SAFE. Under board concerns, do we have any board concerns this evening? Seeing none, can I have a motion to excuse ourselves for executive session regarding personnel?
So moved.
Moved and seconded, thank you. Session, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve advertising to accept letters of interest from Clarion County Foxborough 9.1 residents to fill the ongoing vacated school board director vacancy?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes, we advertised one time, we didn't get any applicants to it, so we're obligated to re-advertise.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Consent agenda here. Unless there's any objections, we'll take letters A through H as one item. Can I have a motion for that, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Financial purchase. Patty, can you do that for us, please?
Items A through G are the activities reports, paying the bills, general finance, payroll, check register, cafeteria finance report, activities report, first program report from March, everything's for March, elementary activity account, and the elementary yearbook account. Motion to accept those findings.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Cafeteria report, Stacy?
Good evening, everyone. Last month, cafeteria served 13,054 meals, and I'm also happy to say that I had said that we were going to start testing some à la carte items, and so we've done that with some suggestions from the Wellness Committee, and they brought up some items that they'd like to see, so we've been testing them. Some have gone over well, some not as well, so I hope to have, I will have, a 5-day rotation for those items at the high school when we start the 26-27 year. But as of this time this year, we've seen almost an increase of $6,000 in our à la carte sales this year. So I'm hoping with being able to start that full-time right when we kick off in August, that that number will continue to increase. I did have to resubmit an application from the NSLP SBP for the 2 delay days that we had in March. It was submitted and accepted. I will be submitting the CEP information to PDE based on what they sent to me for the 1st of April, and I'll have that done by the end of this week. Submitting this information does not obligate the district to anything, but if it's something that we did choose to look at, this has to be done by the end of the month in order for us to even consider that program. PDE came out with a percentage of 33.78%. When I go into my PASES system, I see 36%, but at that time last year, we were at 42.69%. So our percent keeps dropping of our directly certified students. I truly believe, actually I talked to Mrs. Thurber today, and the Medicaid, Medicare income guidelines for free and reduced, as those continue to implement and families are having to recertify, we're losing more because those guidelines for the income, they qualify income-wise for the Medicaid or Medicare, but they are not qualifying on the free lunch-based income guidelines. So I'll continue to look at that, but I will have that done, and then I will have that information in a packet for you for the April board meeting in May. We're having our last celebration lunch in the cafeteria on Friday, May 1st, to celebrate the beginning of the last month of school. And we are scheduling and planning, I'm sure you saw with Maddie, we are scheduling around numerous numerous field trips, PBIS activities, spring fling, graduation, recognition days, where we're always going to be missing entire students. So we'll be keeping a very close eye on when they'll be out and our inventory and ordering so we can keep that cost down as much as possible. And that's all I have this evening.
Thank you, Stacy.
Patty, we're going to do just a slight adjustment here. We're going to jump down to letter S. That should provide more information for all the other letters there.
I was gonna ask if I could move, so thank you for beating me.
Please make a note that I do have some budget information at your seat today, if you could pull that out. That's some of the anticipated money coming from Governor Shapiro's current state budget. And again, that's being discussed in Harrisburg. That may or may not come to fruition, but that's just a little bit of the changes with the revenue. I'm going to talk a little bit more about our preliminary budget. Keep in mind that these are numbers that we're working on currently. And as I get into the slide deck that we have, I'd like to start off with a little bit more information about why we have a budget and what we're doing as a school district and school board. Keep in mind that we do have a mission statement. AC Valley, in conjunction with the community, will ensure a comprehensive education that inspires students to dream big, work hard, and act responsibly. So that's our mission, what we're doing today to meet the goals of our vision statement, which we're projected to develop our students into. That was part of our comprehensive plan. It's been in place for a good number of years now. And as we're going through the budget and we have the discussion, just keep that in mind. That's why we're here. We're working with the students day in and day out. Part of that is tied into the state test. Just keep in mind that the state went out and they got a new vendor. They will be utilizing Pearson's educational materials, and they dropped the contract with DRC. We may see some changes, but it won't be for an entire year. So the information that I have in front of you this evening is just comparing AC Valley to the state. And that's generally what our goals are, or some of the provisions that we have. You can see AC Valley, we're in the blue, the state's in the red. If we had more than one school, that green would designate that. So if you could just keep an eye on the blue and the green, and I do have some notes up in the header as well. And we just went through third grade math and ELA and fourth grade math and ELA, and you could just take a quick look at all that. And the school board members, you do have a copy of my PowerPoint. Fifth and sixth grade data, and again, we got fifth math and fifth ELA, and then sixth math and sixth ELA. And you can tell there's some fluctuations even within the math and the English. We have some great test scores out there, some other areas that we could have improvement. Seventh grade, again, math and ELA. In eighth grade, we have the data in front of you this evening. That's blue is AC Valley, red is the state. And then also the Keystones. And just keep in mind that Dr. Jordan went to the online testing platform this past year, and we did see a slight drop across the board with our Keystone exams up there. But you can see we're still trending just higher than the state average. And then the final slide is just a comparison with ELA, all the tested PSSA grades at 3 through 8, both ELA and math. As we dive into the budget, each year we put the budget timeline in front of the school board in December, and we use that internally to get us to where we're at this evening, and then hopefully have a budget submitted to the state before June 30th. So in March, the business office and all the administrative team, we had worked together on site-based budgets. We didn't do any kind of cuts. We kind of worked and just brought forth with you some of our standard numbers that we've had. There's some slight increases, but we've worked diligently to align our accounting codes to ensure that everything's tied into the CSIU system and the state regulations. This evening, I am presenting the preliminary budget. We're not voting on anything, but this is the guide that we'll have as we get ready for the May 11th board meeting, where Courtney and I will dive into a lot more of the account codes and finite that budget with the revenues and expenditures. We will be working with the AC Valley Finance Committee between now and then June 15, we approve the final adoption of the budget, and then June 30th, we have to have it submitted by. So if we have any kind of issues, we always have that June board meeting a little bit early so we can reconvene if necessary. Always review some staff and student numbers for you this evening. In that budget right now, we have one superintendent. We have one assistant to the superintendent. Pending my retirement, June of 2027, we are looking at a succession plan. We will be working on that in May. I'll submit my letter of anticipated retirement, and also hopefully have an assistant that will be mentored for the next year. We have 3 principals in this budget, director of ed is not filled at this time. We do have we'll have an acting business manager, and we're also contracting the business manager services out to EDM 2 days a week. We have Ellen Newman down here working with us, and Matt Lentz. Roughly 60 teachers, 10 teachers up at the West 2 program. We have 12 paraprofessionals, as you can see. We have one school nurse in each building. Athletic director, we do not have an athletic trainer. We have 2 counselors. We do have a Venango career counselor here 1 day a week, 2 librarians, 2.17 techs, and part of that is tied into our maintenance. As you can see, 1.83. So we have 1 maintenance staff that does a little bit of technology to help and support that. 1 maintenance director, 8 full-time custodians, 3 part-time, a full-time school psychologist and special ed director. We do contract through the IU for 5 days a week with a social worker, 2 part-time study hall monitors, an attendance officer. We have 5 full-time secretaries and 1 part-time, 1 full-time cafeteria supervisor, 1 full-time cafeteria head cook, and 9 part-time. We do have 2 school police officers in this budget. 1 would be paid for through the PCCD grant. The other one's locally funded. And then, a number of coaches that we have not outlined this evening. But everything's tied into it. In addition to that, I share with you the enrollment for each year. And I always start with the 05-06 school year because I started the year after that. So since that time, we're down 372 students. And just like most of the schools in Pennsylvania, we do have a declining enrollment. Next year, we're anticipating 49 homeschool students out. That's 10 more than the year previous. 45 cyber schools. That's 4 more. We have 4 students in IU classrooms, 1 in All Ed, and then we have 12 students in our own AC Valley Cyber and the ROC program. And then right now, we have 10 West 2 students, but we will be at 36. We'll have 3 dorms of 12 students up there. So if we add up the entire group of students that are inside and outside of the district, we're at 724. But locally, we have it broken down by grade level. And with our kindergarten group coming in, we did have 42 students sign up. We were anticipating 38, but we had a slight increase. You can see the other numbers per grade level with a total of 577 students on district grounds every day. Now, as we dive into the budget, we are going to take a look at some student placements, and then we'll review the expenditures and the revenues outlined within here. You can see that we try to keep as many students here on campus as possible, but due to the needs and some of the behaviors associated with it, we can't educate every student here on campus. So these are some of the numbers that are tied into that budget as well. The 2 areas I'd like to point out are the outside cyber with the elementary and junior, senior high school students. You can tell we spend about $1 million of our taxpayers per year with outside cyber. That total outside students of 44 is just over $1.6 million. Cyber tuition, we did have a little bit of reprieve this past year. Our numbers are still just over $20,000 for a general ed student and just over $39,000 for a special ed student, down from $25,000 and $44,000. So we do have a little bit of savings, but again, we lost a few students to outside cyber. Just a gross overview as far as what the budget looks like compared to last year. Keep in mind that Pennsylvania State Retirement System, we have a matching contribution of 33.59%. So every dollar of salary we pay out, that's what we're paying in retirement. We are experiencing a 8.7% health increase next year, which is actually trending low. That's a really good number for the district and for the Rashini Group consortium that we're a part of. Some of the students that are in our IU6 programming, it costs just over $500,000. The Career Center will be sending just over 50 students up there. The cost is broken down per student per 7 schools in in Clarion County, and our portion is estimated to be just over $395,000. In that budget, we do have about $30,000 for new technology in both buildings, and our PCCD grant continues, and we're looking at adding some communication devices as well as that SBO. And then with the budget, just like every year, we have an E-rate application out that's just over $18,000. and the portion for AC Valley is just over $5,600. The ARP ESSER money that we had around COVID, it's been gone for a while now, which is reminding everybody about that. Outside cyber and secondary and elementary. Local taxes, we can increase to the index, which is 4.7%. We do have that maxed out in this budget as we move through. That overall tax increase and the overall taxes coming in is just over $3.9 million. And the state and federal revenue is just over $13.6 million coming in. And just keep in mind that that West 2 grant is just over $2.35 million, and that was approved for the next 5 years. It will be part of the governor's budget, but the application that was submitted this past year is a 5-year application. So moving into the revenues, this is a projection with taxes. If we do increase it to 4.7%, keep in mind that after it's rebalanced, it goes up in 2 counties and goes down in 2 counties. So that's the overall rate. If I can make note on Clarion County, you can see a major adjustment. That's because of the reassessment. And just keep in mind that a third of the reassessment goes up, a third remains the same, and a third goes down. We're not to adjust that locally. So we're trying to have an even playing field, and that's why those mills had came down drastically. Now, once we, as a school board, would like to increase taxes, then we can increase from that 4.6 projected mills. We're still working with other Clarion County schools. That's just the biggest difference. The money should be the same coming in for the taxes. There's no increase or decrease, but we do have the option to increase them that 4.7%. And again, some of the struggles that we have here at AC Valley is the fact that we're in 4 different counties, and we cannot increase the taxes to the index with each of those 4 counties is broken down. 89 schools that are in multiple counties, 1 in 4 counties. This is a proposal and a projection at this particular time from Governor Shapiro. Keep in mind that the budget reserves in the state are depleted, and to balance this budget, Governor Shapiro is making a recommendation to pull from the rainy day fund. And the House Republicans and Senate Republicans are not necessarily in favor of that. As you can see, these are the Clarion County schools. We are looking at a $50,000 increase with the Ready to Learn block grant. We utilize that funding to offset the cost of our kindergarten teachers. And this is just an overview of the revenue coming in from the state per school district. You can tell with the proposal, we're potentially getting just over $105,000 more than previous years. And then special education budget, and there's a 3.27% increase. As you can see, we're getting $19,000 more. And, just the cost to educate some of our most needy students continue to rise, and that's just a drop in the hat. Federal Reserve, we get roughly around $700,000. We're using the numbers that we had from the previous year because the new numbers are not out right now. But just with the Title I-A and Title II, and that supports a teacher and an aide, we get just over $202,000. Title IV supports our AmeriCorps program with our students coming down here helping to educate the youth. And then Title I-D, that D is for delinquent. That's the money that we're getting for the West 2 program, and that pays the salary and benefits for 1 reading specialist. Moving into the expenditures, we do have the salary and benefits coming up in front of you. As you can see, there's a projected increase of $717,000. And that's over the previous year. And just a couple outliers that are at the bottom down there that Courtney and Ellen was able to put in. We do have 2 additional teachers tied into that West 2 grant, and that's 1 special ed teacher and 1 vocational teacher. There's no changes to our budget. That's the money from the grant to help support that program. And then we are making a recommendation to eliminate the assistant elementary principal position and add that assistant to the superintendent position. And then also we've decreased and went from an assistant business manager to a part-time business office support. And there's a motion on your agenda. So there's a significant healthcare savings as well as salary savings right there in front of you. Health-related benefits, keep in mind that we did have some healthcare concessions this past contract. We'll see some of those savings as we continue to move on down through the years to come, but at this time, we're expecting a $302,000 increase. And the cafeteria budget, I think it depends on the overall expenditures tied into the revenues and the square footage that we have back there, but we've been working very closely with Stacy, and we're, without tying in fixed assets and day-to-day operations, we're expecting a $14,000 loss in the cafeteria. Reviewing the fund balance for the last couple of years, as you can see that we've, with 23, 24, and 24, 25, we've had two really good budget years where we were able to put money back into our reserves. 2 years ago, $937,000, and this past year, $897,000 into the reserves. But with all that being said, I don't have the greatest of news for you this evening. As you can see, our revenues are just over $18 million. The expenditure is just over $20 million, and we're experiencing a projected shortfall of $2.1 million at this particular time. We'll still continue to work and adjust that budget as we move our way through, but those are the numbers that were presented to us. What are our future concerns? There's many. Cyber school costs and the number of kids that are outside. That basic education funding formula and special education funding just doesn't keep up. I mean, to have a projection of $254,000 and our bills go up by $1 million per year, and it's just, we're not alone here at AC Valley. It's across the state and quite frankly across the entire United States. That fair funding formula really helps out certain schools but not others. Increasing healthcare costs and PSERS. And then I know we're discussing several items associated with the bond right now. Just keep in mind that bond's budget neutral. It's been the same payment that we've had since 1996, and we're getting towards the end of a number of different projects. So as you can see, we've worked not only with the architect but also the business office to get you as accurate as we can with the numbers and information. And with that budget that I have in front of you this evening, it looks like we have the potential of completing all our projects and having an additional $160,000, and that's before we pay out for the Mazzaro and the project manager and the pool building. So if we approve the pool building this evening, the lights this evening, we continue on with Nancy in here, we should have about roughly $70,000 or so, depending on some of the change orders associated with that. So everything you have in front of you this evening, with the anticipation of the parking lot and the student drop-off and pickup area next spring, we're still under budget with the bond. So just moving on, we continue to explore revenues, expenditures, and we'll have the preliminary budget ready to go for submission into the May school board agenda, and then we'll put it out for public display for a month. That's part of the school code that we have, is that it goes on display for 30 days before the June board meeting. Any questions or comments about the budget, the information that I presented to you this evening?
The West 2 grant, you said it's been approved for 5 years?
Yes.
Could it be cut at any reason for any time?
It's still part of the governor's budget. So as far as the future goes, who knows? It's been part of the budget untouched for the past 20 years is what I've been told. So I feel fairly confident that with that green light that we have, there's a need out there for those programs.
Thank you.
No, it's grant funded, and the goal was to have 48 students up there. Excuse me. The program could hold 60. So no, we're hoping to start the fall out with the 36 females, and we'll, I guess, play it by ear. But they said that we're not going to be at 48 anytime soon. So yeah, without the number of students, that's the grant coming in each year. Okay, thank you.
So continuing on,
Yep, go ahead, thank you.
need some lights, sorry. Item I, thank you. Consideration, hey, let there be light. Consideration to approve the invoice from Invention Land LLC in the amount of $31,927.54 paid for by the PA Smart Grant as attached. So moved.
Moved and second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item J, consideration to approve the invoice from Banding Together LLC in the amount of $3,077.50 for 50 garment bags, 50 hat boxes, and 50 French upright plumes as attached. So moved.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Did Union approve their
Yes.
end? Okay, they did
It did.
approve
Yep,
everything?
yep,
Okay.
we're ready to go on it.
All right, great, great. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
Item K, consideration to approve the invoice from Stanbury Uniforms LLC in the amount of $22,872.50 for 50 Shako hats, 50 coats, 50 jumpsuits as attached. So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
Item L, consideration to approve the invoice from Massaro CM Services LLC in the amount of $14,521 paid for by the bond as attached. So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
Item M, consideration to approve advertising for an RFP for the football field lights paid for by the bond. So moved.
Any discussion?
What's the projected cost?
Roughly 75,000, and we've had a couple bids from 35 to 75. James did reach out to Penelec to have those the pools assessed, and we're waiting on that right now.
If they come back negative or we don't hear anything back, are we planning to replace the poles?
I don't think at this time we'll have the funding to do so at this. I'd say that part of the project would be put on hold.
Okay.
It's just my recommendation out to the board.
I just want to keep that in mind with the extra bond money. You know, I know we have to spend it for, capital projects, but I'm not looking to just run out and just
Yeah.
spend money just for fun.
Yeah, I think we'd still be short though, even with those pools.
No, it's just lights. Thank you.
Any other discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve the donation from Emlenton United Methodist Ministries in the amount of $1,500 for AC Valley Lunch Program. So moved.
Moved and second. Any discussion? I'd like to thank the church for their wonderful donation to the lunch programs here. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
Item O, consideration to approve the all-access membership package with PSBA in the amount of $8,926.91 for the 26-27 school year as attached. So moved.
Any discussion? I know the price has gone up over the past couple of years, but I think PSBA has a lot of great free resources to offer that's included in this price. Updates on policies, legislation updates, and then attorney consulting as well. So I definitely think it's a well worthwhile investment. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve the invoice from Salvis Learning Company in the amount of $133,254.41 for the ELA curriculum for 26-27 school year as attached. So moved.
Any discussion on this?
Is this grant funded?
No.
I'm concerned, that's a large number. When we just saw what we saw, facing a negative $2 million budget, and it's not that I don't think it's important, Kristen, I certainly do. My concern is that's a big chunk of money. My personal preference would be that we hold off until the budget shakes out. That may not give you timing to get it ordered for the new school year, but I'm just one of 9. That's just a lot of money to spend.
Right. So you wanted to,
So originally, the grant, the bid fell, quote, was right around $180,000. So according to the committee, we prioritized our needs and got it down to 141,000. And then I went back after the workshop, and while prioritizing what the teachers were requesting and what they thought would benefit the students the most, and put us in compliance with the state mandate that's coming out for the 2027-2028 school year, I was able to manipulate and restructure some of the professional development while keeping those, the fidelity of the program in place. So I did get off about $8,100 in that. Now, we can go back and look at some things, but right now, and Lori can speak to this as well, we are working with a curriculum that they don't even sell the pieces for anymore because it is not aligned with the science of reading. So teachers are supplementing, they're gathering pieces, they're using old workbooks and things like that. I believe Lori said that when we first adopted Journeys, it was over 10 years ago.
Yeah, my first year down here, they had adopted it they picked it the year before, and the first year I was here was the first year they were using it, so 10 years ago. But I think the biggest concern is we can't get any of it anymore because it's now 2 years out of date. So we've just been kind of piecemealing, trying to get through and not spend the money that we need to spend. But what has really propelled us is the state mandates coming out about the science of reading and what we're required to do. And our current series doesn't meet that.
So, Kiara, you're wanting, if we tabled this then a couple months till after the budget numbers is what your thought was?
I'm assuming that does not allow
Yeah,
enough
and that's
time
what
for the new school
we
year?
do run into that trouble with the ordering and the shipping and getting the professional development prepared for the teachers so they can start the school year with it. Savas was kind enough to extend a pilot license, so if this is a go today, the teachers will have access to a pilot program, but online, digital, so they can start preparing for the fall without getting anything shipped to us till after July 1st. That was really important to me, and I know to Lori too, to get the materials in the hands of the teachers before summer. And I thought it was very kind of them to kind of extend that resource to us without putting any money up front.
I assume this number is included in our $2 million deficit.
That's correct.
Okay.
Just the math, it's about 15% of the deficit. Is there any way you guys could get through without it?
We'll be out of compliance, from what I understand.
Is that what it
The
is?
the following school
The
year,
27,
28
yeah.
school year.
Yeah. And then if you could get through this year, if you could not do it this year, okay? And order for 27, 28, which is when the compliance is in, is there a difference? Will it be more money?
Oh, yeah,
I was gonna
for
say,
sure.
nothing
Well,
gets
is it,
cheaper.
I'm not saying that, is it gonna be double? Is this, and this is something you don't do every year either, correct?
I mean,
No.
we haven't done it for 10 years.
Yes.
Yes.
So, and like, I understand that the public is gonna see, oh, we're spending all this money on this football field, but that money is not tied to this at all. And I know education, I know this is gonna be a straight storm.
And this is a 6-year program too, so this is the cost over 6 years. You can
Okay.
put it into that perspective as
So
well.
this will get us through for the next 6 years?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
We had a 6-year contract with Journeys as well, and we kept it for now 10 years.
Okay. I'm just,
And in the beginning, that was fine going past our contract because we could still, for 6 years, all your consumables, everything you need to replenish, you just get automatically during your contracted years. After that, we were still able to purchase the consumables that we needed, but
but
we
now you
can't do
can't.
that now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know I'm being the bad guy, but it's only gonna get worse. So, just fair warning to everyone in the district. So, if we're already facing this deficit, it's gonna be hard to approve things, so. If obviously, if it's needed, then I don't have a problem with it. If they need it for compliance, then nothing we can do about it.
So I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
I think I heard, but I'm not, I just want clarification. So this amount over 6 years, or is this amount upfront?
It's
to cover
upfront, but
6
it's for 6 years with all the consumables, all the professional development.
Can't help
everything.
hurt me for trying.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish they could do that for us, right?
Okay.
So you could pay it over the time of that.
Okay.
Just so you know, as far as the Act 47 of 2025, that mandate that has kind of come down, we have already had to fill out a mandatory survey based on what we're doing currently. So that was due at the end of March. And quite honestly, it was a little bit eye-opening when you're going through this survey and you're looking at the things that we don't have in place that are coming down the pike. So that is just food for thought. And not, I mean, it's just not the curriculum. Along with the curriculum, we have to report to PDE annually on the number of teachers that are trained. This ties into our Future Ready Planning Portal, all of which that is due, you know, in the summer before the school year starts. This is the evidence-based reading curriculum. The good news is that we already have a universal screener in place. But by that same year, 2027, we also have to have reading intervention plans in place for every student that show at risk, which we are developing under our MTSS framework right now. But to tie that in with any type of curriculum that we're using, we're going to kind of be behind the 8 ball moving forward for 2027 if we push back that adoption till that very year for our teachers and anybody on the data or MTSS committee.
Not really negotiable, it's essential. That's what you're saying.
Without so many words, yes.
What is the life expectancy on this program? I know you say you got 10 years out of the current one.
Well, I mean, this cost covers the 6 years. So as far as like our curriculum cycle goes, they do recommend that we cycle through all of our curriculums about every 5 years just to review them, see if they're working. We haven't done that, obviously, as evidenced by the 10 years using Journey. So that was one thing I really worked on, getting that schedule in line and ready to go, moving forward with all of the curriculum that's in place. And last year, we started reviewing the math curriculum. Last year, we were supposed to do the ELA curriculum, but we pivoted to math because similarly, the resources just weren't there for us. So we switched gears a little bit, did that, started with reviewing math, then moved to ELA, and then we'll just keep that cycle going through social studies and science too, approximately every 5 years.
Okay.
CJ just asked if it was K to 6. It is K to 6, but one of the other things that we run into, and we did with the science program as well, is most companies make their curriculum K to 5 because of middle school situations. So we have to purchase the K to 5 and we have to purchase a 6th grade piece. So it adds on to the cost of the, purchasing that curriculum.
I can give you that number too.
Yeah, I just did the math. It breaks down to about $3,166 per grade per year, just for numbers.
And just to piggyback off of what Lori said, the 6th grade piece itself cost us about $15,000 as a standalone part of that.
Any other discussion on this? Nope. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
Item Q,
I just want to say
Oh,
thank you.
sorry.
And I know that my teachers will appreciate that as well, so thank you.
No, you're fine. Consideration to approve awarding Adams Contracting LLC for a 24 by 60 foot pole building at a cost of $50,120, paid for by the bond. So moved.
Moved and second. Any discussion on this?
What's all included with this building?
I'll defer to James for that one there.
It's gonna be the size, there's gonna be an 8-foot apron, 4 inches of concrete in the building. There'll be just the overhead door and a man door, skylights around the 2 sides. No insulation, no power, no plumbing.
Is this something we could do without? I mean, I guess we need it, Can we do without? We're looking at budget
Just
numbers.
Increased, field equipment,
It's in the bond.
track-related items, the existing pole building we have for storage, is always full. We're trying to rotate stuff out of there between vehicles, excess chairs, tables, again, just adding equipment, stuff that comes in from deliveries, we're able to put it in there so we can get it unpackaged and into the buildings. We have added the resource vehicle that the police officer uses, and an additional van. We used to keep the one van we had in that building all the time, but just due to not having storage anymore, some of the stuff is sitting.
Just to clarify, this is paid for by the bond, so it really bears no,
Well, I understand that, but I think there was discussion a while back that money allocated to like seal the parking lots or repay them, whatever they needed. This was gonna be money that was kind of earmarked for that.
you mean within the bond? Is that what you're saying?
Well, like
Yeah.
maintenance, like what
Yeah,
you're saying.
maintenance, you know, parking lots, I think need resealed or repaved, whichever. Be nice if we could do that.
You are correct, but I think there is gonna be a little bit of excess with the field that we initially projected, whether it was high or not, but if we're gonna come in under that number, there will be somewhat excess with the field especially. I definitely do hope to do parking lot repairs next spring, or next summer, you know, when we do this front area. Just due to settling, cracking, ponding water in the wintertime, you know, slip hazards, whenever it does freeze, it has been a few issues the last couple of years in the wintertime.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Moved and second. Any discussion? I think Jeff Fowler here has a couple comments about this motion on the agenda here.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity and hopefully helpful to be here with you tonight. In an effort to be completely transparent and proactive on this whole football field mess, I wanted to be here tonight to help you understand what you're going to get for that $258,000. Okay, so basically, what the contractor is going to do is strip 2 inches of topsoil off of the existing field. So what you see out there now, 2 inches of it's going to go away, get piled up to the side. They're going to extend the pad, if you will, 15 feet to the south. Okay, so it's going to be going towards the road further. And then while they have that topsoil off, they're going to basically rip the subsoil that's down underneath what will now be 10 inches of topsoil. Currently on the entire field, you have 12 inches of topsoil, okay? Which is wonderful. Makes people like me very happy to hear 12 inches of topsoil. So we're going to take 2 inches off, we're going to push it to the side, we're going to rip down the middle of the field 2 directions with something that will get to the sub-base to basically, it was rolled as hard as this floor, so we need to break up that compaction so the water can move through that profile. Once that ripping is done, they're going to take that 2 inches of topsoil that they've removed and push it down onto the new sub-base that's going to be at the far end, on the road end of the field. They're going to put in surface drains, they're going to put surface drains in on the right-hand side as we look at the field from here. So on the bleacher side, they're going to put in 4 surface drains and grade to those 4 surface drains. So water, instead of laying in the low spot over here, which we'll call a ditch appropriately, we're going to put drains in that so that the water can get through the filter fabric that they put in the last time and get down and get out of there quickly. Okay, because the field is graded so that it runs off of the surface, and it needs to go someplace. Once it gets off the surface, it needs someplace to go. So we're gonna give it some openings to get off the field and go off to Never Never Land. Okay? Once that's done, they're going to regrade the field. So currently it's at a 2% grade, and that when I say 2%, that means from the highest spot on the field, which is from goalpost to goalpost, okay, is from there to the sidelines is a 2% grade. It will be 1.5 because we don't have as much topsoil to put back in. We can do it, but we'd have to pay for more topsoil, so we're trying to avoid buying more topsoil in this whole effort. So we're gonna regrade to 1.5 inches, or to 1.5%, which is more than enough. Typically, on just a football field, if someone calls me and asks me what kind of percentage we should have, I will say 1.5 to 2%. Because we're not playing European football on it, or American soccer, we can get away with a little bit more percentage of a grade. If we were gonna play European football, American soccer on the field, then I would say we need to be at 1%. Okay, but we're not. So they're gonna regrade that, and that'll be a turtleback shape, so the highest spot will be at the 50-yard line, and from the 20 to the 20, basically between the goalposts. I'm a visual learner, so that's why I have to talk with my hands. So from the 20 to the 20 will be the highest spot, and then it will grade this way, from east to west, and from north to south. So basically, the middle of it will be, it's a turtleback, and water will repel off of it. Okay, and then we're going into drains that we've opened up, or, we're gonna open up, first thing we're gonna do. In that regrading, we're going to move the center of that field 5 feet to the east, so towards the light poles, and 15 feet to the south. So basically, the center of the field will move 5 towards the light poles and 15 towards the road. Okay? That helps us and gives us space along the bleacher side to get those drains put in, so that is that the visiting side? The bleacher side?
That's the home side.
That's the home side. So your coaches won't have to stand in the drainage ditch. They'll be able to stand up on something a little bit flatter. Okay? It will also be safer for everybody to be up off that. It'll also give them room to reestablish the grade on the hill back to the specs that you folks wanted. Okay, back onto that. Once all of that grading is, clear back then. Once that's all in and it's all graded, they're gonna rototill 1 inch of compost into that to change the profile of the soil and make it more appropriate for what we're gonna do next, and that is sod the field. Okay, so sod was bid into this, into the price. So the sod was also listed to come from Keystone Sod, which is in Clearfield. I will be, if it is approved and once we're moving forward with it, I'll be going to the sod farm to look at what they're going to cut and give to us. Basically, that sod's gonna come in 48-inch wide rolls by 50 feet long, and they'll just roll out, just like putting carpet in your living room, they'll just roll it out, and then we have to turn on the water and water it hard. Okay? Hopefully all that by beginning of June. Okay? I will say, and there's been lots of debate about this, I know, and you guys have been pushed up against the wall, but I will say that what has been done thus far, okay, the work that has been done out there thus far is not wasted. Okay, you didn't waste the money that you spent last year to where you are. That work had to be done anyway. Okay, so basically, the only thing that probably, and I'll say the word waste, it's not even a waste, but the sub-base being ripped, we have to rip that sub-base, so it's a couple of passes to break up the compaction that was put there. But everything else, we were up against a time, you were up against a timeline, because I wasn't involved at that point. And we had to do something for E&S or erosion control basically, because the Conservation District would have been barking about bare soil being exposed all winter. So the seeding that was done, by the way, did you see how well that came up? It's really looking, I walked across it this afternoon, and I'm like, wow, this came up really good, other than the dips and low spots across the whole thing. So, so I just wanted to reassure you that you did not waste money last year. You wasted, some was lost, but a majority of it was money well spent to get to the point that you are at right now. This bid would have been much higher had they had to have started at point A way back at the beginning, if that all makes sense to everybody. And then I would entertain any questions that anyone has before. I'm gonna just walk towards you.
Well, here, I'll talk to this too so everyone can hear. So with Foxburg's water problems imminent for the past years and until it's finished, what happens when we have a large amount of money in sod sitting here and we don't have water to water it because they're out of water? Do we have a contingency plan?
James, do you want to address that? I know somebody talked to the borough to make sure that there would be enough water.
Well, they have constant leaks, and then they're out of water for 1 to X amount of days. I just want to make sure we have a contingency plan in place if we don't have water for multiple days in a row.
Well, so without multiple days in a row is okay. We don't need the water in. We're going to still get hard. I'm sorry, Tebow was real hard on my hearing, but it okay, so the question is, do we anticipate having to screen any of the top, so we are not. But basically what they're going to do, what they're proposing to do is ask them to incorporate that into topsoil, or into compost back onto the topsoil, and root that in. Anything that, this part, I don't see breeding topsoil. I'm on another job right now in Philadelphia College. They don't like topsoil down to a half inch. I can tell you it's like salt. If there's no body to the nothing. We don't want to have to screen it. We'll get the big rock, they'll take the big rock. Also, once we put sod over top of, I'm not going to say that I'm not dumb enough to say it. Hopefully, once we get down there, once we compact that down to 5%, which is what it has to be, on it. Rocks in there, but rocks the size.
The contractor, Dave Roman Excavating, do they have a proven track record?
Yeah, great, thank you. I forgot to mention, I actually personally checked all the references, asked them for references in the process. I personally followed each of the references. Pikesville Little League, basically, I'm really excited about that. Team this group off. Other companies, another firm, basically architect, a lot of projects. Basically, what he told me is the guy that does the work is extremely good. The actual person who runs the machine, or machines, is worth the money in gold.
All right, thank you.
I guess the million-dollar question, will we play football this fall?
What's Mother Nature gonna do for us, right? Is she gonna give us the rain we need? Is it gonna root the way we want it to? We certainly hope so. That's the goal in sodding, right, is that we can play football, that you'll be able to play football on it. also been around this business long enough to never guarantee anything.
Great. Any other questions here for Jeff Fowler? All right, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks,
Have a
Jeff,
good
we
night.
appreciate it.
Question not for Jeff, but the fee for the re-engineering of that looked like it was quite extensive. Are we paying for that?
I don't believe there's any additional costs associated with that.
Glad to hear that.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Any discussion? I would like to thank Mr. and Mrs. Kent Deal for the donation. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Fantastic. Carrie, can you take us through personnel, please?
Sure. Letter A, consideration to approve paying Megan Bashline and Kirsty Seipel a $500 stipend for the bocce coach season for the 2025-2026 school year. So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
Letter B, consideration to approve hiring Heidi Havis as a full-time light duty custodian at an hourly rate of $21.14. So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
Letter C, consideration to approve advertising for a part-time district-wide custodian. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve hiring Austin Campbell upon receipt of all appropriate documentation as a full-time heavy-duty custodian at an hourly rate of $18.30. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter E, consideration to approve accepting the letter of resignation from Sally Craddy, effective April 10th, 2026, as attached. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? I'd like to thank Sally Craddy for her years of service at the district here. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter F, consideration to approve advertising for a part-time 3-hour-per-day custodian position. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter G, consideration to approve advertising for summer 2026 mowing services. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I
All those
do.
in-
What?
Oh, yep, go ahead.
Didn't Heidi do this before? And now we're looking to just have someone come in part-time in the summer to fulfill what she did?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the way I understand it, right?
Yeah, to go off that, Cliff, Heidi was our part-time district-wide custodian during the school year, and that is only during the school calendar year. So in the summer, she would not have a position, so she was able to transition into the mowing, do that for the couple months, and then kind of come back to the part-time. So moving forward, we could potentially find another person to do that, you know, if they would be willing to. We might find someone that just wants to mow for a couple months and, you know, be done for fall. But moving forward, I would like to find that same person, that we would potentially keep them, you know, for a couple years.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
Letter H, consideration to approve hiring Kendall Hickman as the junior-senior high school principal upon receipt of all appropriate documentation at a salary of $97,500. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve the administrative assistant to the business office and transportation director job description as attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
Letter J, consideration to approve hiring Virginia Bowser upon receipt of all appropriate documentation as a part-time assistant to the business office transportation director at an hourly rate of $17.12. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter K, consideration to approve hiring Caleb Penny as the boys' head varsity basketball coach upon receipt of all appropriate documentation at a supplemental salary of $3,070.20. So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter L, consideration to approve advertising for a head varsity girls basketball coach. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All
Can
those
it-
in- Oh, yep.
Just real quick, did, what was her name?
Union opens up
Kelly.
all of their positions every year, and since AC Valley's taken over the girls program for next year, we will be
Oh,
the host.
okay, gotcha.
Then we're
I'm
just
following.
making a transition and advertising.
Thank you.
Sure.
Never mind.
Good?
Proceed.
All right, any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
Letter M, consideration to approve hiring McKenna Lavella as a long-term sub for first grade for the remainder of the 2025-2026 school year. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Oh,
Yeah, she'll have the daily sub rate. If you're in the position for over 20 days, and that first year, daily rate of a bachelor's one would kick in for those long-term subs.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Advertising 2 elementary positions, should we have that, should we vote to rescind that?
We've never voted. I mean, I think it's up to the school board if we want to rescind that formally, or we'll just leave that set idle.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
The two positions that we were going to add before the shortfall, we did make a vote to advertise, but we've never voted. I mean, we can make a vote to rescind it or leave it idle.
We never made a motion to hire, so I think we can just leave it as is for now. I think it's fine. Unless anybody else feels strongly about rescinding it. Okay. Clifford, can you take us through instructional services, please?
No. Elementary report, please.
Thank you, CJ. I just want to start tonight by acknowledging Mrs. Nemelli and her STEM team that's going on to states next month. She's been taking those kids for several years, as she said. I think this year she had about 24 kids she was working with. I really appreciate her encouragement of the program. She's one of our initial STEM team members, along with Sarah McCord and Steph Best. And I appreciate all the work that those ladies have done to improve STEM education here in our building. As a follow-up to that, the state competition is on May 8th in Harrisburg, which was to be the date of our spring band and choir concert. So in talking with Mrs. Lowry and Mr. Green, they've agreed to move that concert to May 7th, the day before, at 1 o'clock. And we have already put that notice out about 2 weeks ago to our parents. As soon as we knew that they were had the opportunity to go to the state STEM competition, we sent out a dojo to our entire building on the class dojo, and then we will send home more information closer to concert date. So just noting that change. And then also that Mrs. Nemelli will be hosting the art show May 13th from 5 to 7 here in our building, along with Mrs. Forsythe from the high school. So Mrs. Nemelli's been busy. Last week, we hosted kindergarten registration for the 26-27 school year, and we were very pleased. We had 37 students register in those 2 days. One student who will be registering but was unable to attend and will register this summer. So we are at 38, which I know isn't as high as we would like to see them, but in perspective, last year at kindergarten registration, we registered 28 kids, and in 2024, we registered 29. So the numbers are, about 10 kids stronger, and that's the direction we like to see things going. Tomorrow at the elementary, we will begin our PSSA testing. The ELA test will be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week, and our math will be Monday and Tuesday of next week, science Wednesday and Thursday of next week. This Friday is the midpoint of quarter 4, which I can hardly believe. So this is a good time this week, end of this week, for parents to check the parent portal to see how their students are doing in the fourth quarter. And the last thing I wanted to bring up tonight was a request from Mrs. Daly. She sponsors what she calls March Madness every year for her backpack program the students have a classroom competition to see whose classroom can bring in the most food for the backpack program. The winning room gets a prize, and this year that was Miss Shrek's 4th grade. Mrs. Daly would like to take them to the Bruin bowling lanes, and they will have pizza there for lunch, and then if time, stop at Holy Sunday, if time and if Holy Sunday can accommodate them on the way home. The caveat here is the only day that Bruin Bowling Lanes could host them is May 5th. So that's after tonight, but before next month's board meeting. So she asked if I could find out tonight if we can go ahead and allow her to go on that trip in some way, either approve it retroactively or add it to tonight. So I'm just putting that out there for all of you to discuss to see if we can help her out with that. It's 4th grade Miss Shrek's room. So it's about 15 kids, and Miss Shrek and Mrs. Daly would be their chaperones. There's no cost to the district. It's paid for through Mrs. Daly's funds for the backpack. And that's it for tonight. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Secondary report, please.
Good evening, everyone. Before I complete my academic report, I will discuss briefly the athletic report since Mr. Sherman is not here tonight. So I just wanted to bring a little bit of attention to our track and field athletes. They are doing extremely well this year. We've had a number of students that have already qualified for districts. We've had qualifying times in the 100, 200, qualifying distances for the long and triple jump, qualifying times in the hurdles and the shot put, all going to districts this year so far. Also, Gianna Louise broke co-op school record in the 400-meter run, and the boys relay for the 4x1 broke the co-op record with a time of 43.9 seconds, which is very nice. Also, varsity baseball is looking very good with a record of 5-3. They are 1/3 of the way through their season and doing very well. So that's the athletic part. Now for my academic report, as Mrs. Sherman stated, district-wide PSSA testing began actually at the high school today. Starts at the elementary school tomorrow. This is the first year for mandated online testing. And I'll be honest, I'm very, very nervous about how our students will perform. I will say, though, that this will be the second year that the high school has put on a PSSA boot camp. They did this last week for both math and ELA. What that consisted of was a group of our teachers in that area pulled the students together for 2 periods in the afternoon for multiple days. They used test exemplars that the state releases, and they put students through the rigor of what approaching that test would look like. The difficulty of it being online is unknown at this time. The state doesn't even have any data as far as student performance and whether it stays consistent or whether it decreases or increases. I think most of the principals in my circle are anticipating drops in performance. The reason for that, mostly we feel that students using an online platform to test as opposed to paper and pencil makes it very easy to just click, click, click. In other words, go through and just, if they get frustrated at all or if they get stumped, they just pick an answer and move on to the next question. Also, just the way the setup is created on the test makes it easy for a student to miss a question, and they can get to the very end and go back, but they aren't necessarily prompted to do so. Whereas whenever you have a paper and pencil test in front of you, especially for ELA, short answer, long answer, you can actually see the work that you're doing, and it doesn't go on page after page and disappear from your sight. And so it makes it much easier for them to review the work that they've done and see where they may have missed a question, because the bubble would be missing in that section. So I will provide an update in the summer once our test scores are given to us. Most likely the 3rd week of July is when we usually get those, and I will keep you apprised as to how we perform this year. Let's keep our fingers crossed, and let's put faith in the good teaching that our teachers have done, and hopefully that will result in some fruitful responses back from our scores. Go ahead.
Do you anticipate, since we're doing this, it's gonna be the same statewide, so there may be an adjustment to the overall scoring on those, or?
Possibility, if there is any changes in the performance of students, I would say as a group across the state of Pennsylvania, the results would be similar. I don't know a lot of, in the past, I've been told of research that has shown that working with students specifically on what the test looks like and going that route doesn't really help a whole lot. It still remains, that the original instruction is the strongest piece. Good instruction equals good results no matter what the test formatting looks like. We will see.
Thank you.
Absolutely, that's part of it. They can see it. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. And we use the Firefly assessment. We've talked about that before. It's a predictor of, what a student performance might look like on that test. They're not exactly the same as what the online PSSAs are, but it's very close. The same company has created both assessments. So hopefully the use of the Firefly makes it easy for that transition into the test as well. Just to give you a little background on the boot camp, though, just in my data meetings with my teachers, we were just trying to think of some way of helping students as much as possible. And we thought about, athletic practices. They practice for big events. Choral concerts. A lot of times the students are sent down and they practice ahead of, a concert. Same with band. And we thought, well, why not for PSSA testing? That's the big game, for academics. So we felt that it's appropriate to pull them for extra time, give them that extra confidence going into that test. And that's why we decided to do that. Moving on, just to let you know, there is a ton of testing that occurs in the next 4 weeks. Actually, this Friday, we have a number of students taking the SATs. The next couple of weeks, we will have the AP testing going on. It's just going to be a ton of assessment at the high school, which culminates with the Keystones late in May. Also, this Friday, we have the MAD Prom Promise program for grades 9 through 12 and prom on Saturday. The 11th grade students participated in mock interviews last week, and it was a wonderful opportunity for them to get to kind of see what it's like to actually interview in front of somebody with specific questions for jobs that maybe they're kind of geared toward that, maybe they're not. But it was a great opportunity. The students really, really appreciated it. And as a district, I think we should thank those businesses that came and represented themselves and their companies and took time out of their day to interview our students and give them that opportunity and that experience. Our students actually also in the FNCS program provided breakfast and lunch for our visitors, which was wonderful. Senior grad projects are on May 1st, and any of you as board members are always invited. We will start those, I believe I set the time at 8:30 for the first one. I can put you in any group anywhere throughout the school to see those. So if you're interested, please let me know and I'll put you in a group. This year's National Honor Society ceremony will take place on May 6th at 10 o'clock in the high school gym. If you're interested in that, also please call my office. We like to have an idea of how many outside guests will be coming. And as I stated before, the month of May has a ton of activities. Please keep checking the website, for updates when it comes to those things. The end of the year is quickly approaching. And Cliff, that's my secondary report.
Thank you very much. We already had our athletic report. Westy report is in front of us. Please read through that. Federal programs report, please.
I think we skipped one motion there under
Oh,
athletic report there.
yep. My apologies. Consideration to approve the supplemental resolution, House Bill 41, interscholastic athletics as attached. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on this?
Yeah, if I could add just a few things, Cliff. This is House Bill 41, along with Senate Bill 1253, presents a clear and reasonable approach to addressing the distinctions between boundary and non-boundary schools. This legislation establishes a framework intended to support fair, meaningful athletic competition for all student athletes across Pennsylvania. So the non-boundary schools, such as the cyber schools, the private schools, the parochial schools, would have their own division. And then the boundary schools, all the other public schools, they'd have two separate provisions. Not only would this be fair for the students and something that's recommended by every administration, but it would really reduce lawsuits that PIAA bogs down. We're strongly encouraging the support of this.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
Like I said, we have the Westy report here in front of us. Please page through that. Federal programs, please.
All right, I have to use Meg's microphone here because mine died and so did Mel. So I don't know if that's a sign that we've been here too long. I don't know. I'm just going on. So this time every year, PDE offers some funding adjustments based on our title grants. And those just came out as of April 15th. And it can go either way. Sometimes we get a little more money, sometimes we get a little less money. Unfortunately, this year we went from $193,000 roughly to a new allocation of $176,000, which is a difference of $16,677 all totaled. It was just the Title I grant that was impacted by that funding adjustment. Nothing occurred in Title II, 4, or 1D at Westview, so that's good news. Another bit of good news, if you will, is that we just received the application for our Small Rural School Achievement Grant. This grant comes in roughly, David had it on his slideshow there, it comes in at roughly $30,000. I think right now it's like at $31,000 that we are eligible again for next year, and that is a non-competitive grant. We get it every year, and nothing as of now is earmarked for that grant, so I know that David and I will be in communication on how we can best use that to offset some of these other costs that we're seeing with the budget. The PCCD grant was also alluded to in the presentation. Currently, there are 2 of those. As you know, those run in 2-year cycles, and we kind of are always like a year behind on that once it's awarded and we start spending it. The current PCCD grant, we have somewhere between $9,000 and $11,000 left to spend in that. With the next grant taking its place is $111,000 roughly. And David also mentioned that it is our hope to write a project modification to those 2 grants and use the remaining of the current grant and the upcoming grant to offset one of the biggest needs that we found in our safety meetings was the communication that occurs or lack thereof of the buses. And I know that Mobilecom and its services was presented to you at one point. So that project modification will be created within those 2 grants, and we can use some of that funding to offset something that I feel, and I know the safety committee feels. And Lori can speak to that as far as the previous transportation director and Courtney, the importance of being able to communicate with our buses in some of our remote areas. So that will be coming through on my end. That will be getting done. And as far as the PA Smart Grant, also good news, the final budget revision was submitted, completed, and approved. So we are all good to spend all of that money out. Ellen, Courtney, and I have been working super diligently as far as like the organization of that goes and the payout of that goes. And I think we are well on our way to spending that all out by the end of June. Any questions for me? Okay, great, thank you.
Mine's also dead. Aaron, we need all the new batteries. District report, please.
No report this evening, it was my budget that I presented.
Much obliged. School, police report, please. Thank you very much. Special education, please.
Am I on? Okay. Hi, good evening. Couple things here. Last Monday and Tuesday, I actually had the opportunity to be in Harrisburg with some of our state leaders in special education, and that was through our fellowship that AC Valley has sponsored me to do for the last year. So I thank you, and it really was a little bit of time out of the building, but definitely worth it, and being able to bring some of those practices back into AC Valley and WSTU. Also, we were able to get Patan came out with an autism initiative, which we applied for and were accepted, which will take us through the next 2 years of actually having consultation through Patan to come with our new autistic support programming here, as well as some potential funding down the stream. After we do our boot camp and our training in 2 years, you can then apply for grants past that. So that's good news. That state testing, just like in the special ed world, so that everyone's aware, that has been difficult as well going online for special education students, and the accommodations for students had to be, their unique accommodations had to be submitted and accepted, and that has been a little bit of a hassle in the last 24 hours. So that's just a kind of a heads up on the special ed world and state testing. I know Meg has her report in front of you, but just a little bit on West too. We do have 6 females currently there. 5 of them are special education students. We are seeing a very high increase of mental health needs, including time as counseling services through their education days. So we are currently trying to develop some plans for that, as well as students who are still coming in with ELL support, and what that type of program looks like for them. But off to a good start with our females over at the units. And that's everything for me tonight. Thank you.
Bob, can you take us through policy, please? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
B, consideration to approve the first reading of policy number 8815.1, use of generative artificial intelligence in education as attached. So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
And C, consideration to approve the first reading of policy number 816, district social media as attached. So moved.
Moved and second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. James, do you have a facilities report?
I do. Good evening, everyone. To start out, up at the high school, with the warmer weather we've experienced the last few weeks, the air conditioning in different units are firing up. So we did have, with that being said, we did have some issues with the chiller in the library at the high school. We did get that up and running. And along with the music room, over the winter, we experienced a power failure that took one of the fan motors and contactors out. So being that it was cold weather, we really couldn't test the air conditioning side of that unit. So now that it is warm and that demand is there, there is an issue with that. So we have Rennick Brothers scheduled for Thursday this week to come out. And then if time permits, I'll just have them kind of look at some of the other units on the roof as far as the air conditioning. In the art room, we did have a leak over Easter break, something with one of the faucets. So we did have some of the flooring tiles damaged with that. Going to look into pricing of getting the tile in there removed potentially and get a new floor this summer. At the elementary, working on some quotes for sidewalk repairs just to try to get something in line for summer to get a couple of the trouble areas replaced. As stated in the agenda, the resignation of Sally Craddy with that 3-hour position, and then hopefully find someone to fill that. District-wide, grass is growing from all the rain we've been getting over the last few weeks, so we are starting to mow. We did sell the 2009 F-350. I know we were hesitant of what to put for reserve on that. I had 8,000 on it. I'm pleased to say we did get 23,200 out of that. So I was very surprised. A lot of people thought it was going to be a scam or we'll never get the money, but the buyer showed up. We got the check, did the title work. Everything's good. He's happy. We're happy. Renovation-wise, football field, we kind of went over that with Mr. Fowler this evening. Auditorium renovation. Nancy had Dan Becker and Justin from Triangle come. They did that infrared scan and some other testing. We do have the results of that. We just need to get back with them to see how we want to proceed with that project. The floor is mostly installed in the auditorium. The LVT is in place. Still just waiting on seating. I mean, it's kind of a chain of events that needs to take place, but once the seats are in, they will finish the aisleways to map out where the carpet's going to go. House lights are in. They installed all those, I believe, Friday, and everything was running today when we were up there for the meeting. The batten lights that'll be shining on the stage, they are on the stage physically, but they will be put up this week and adjusted. Doors and hardware in place, still waiting on a couple cores for keying. The stage refinish, as you've seen in the slides, that is all done, is covered, it looks great. Again, just waiting on seat install, curtains, and then once everything's kind of buttoned up, Invention Land will make their presence and get their equipment in place. The track coating, it's probably been about a week and a half ago, they were on site. The guys have been working every nice day that they can get up there, obviously weather permitting. They are here, once this job is done, they cannot leave till, everything is complete. So they're working every hour and minute they can between raindrops, and they have a great start on it. They have the base coat down. The final coat will be blue, obviously, if anyone has seen it and has concerns. The base coat is a black coating, and then I believe there's 2 more layers that we'll put down. We've been working on getting the new hurdles put together, got those up to the track shed. The new mats, they come in a few weeks back. We got those put out there. Again, still just waiting on the track coating to be done, so we can potentially have a practice or meet there. Again, to just see when that's all done. And if nothing else, we'll be able to host a metric meet up there this the end of the year. Any questions? That's all I have.
Thanks, James. Wes, can you do miscellaneous for us, please?
Certainly. A, Career Center report.
We welcomed our new director up there, Robson Tobin. He was at our first meeting there. I think he'll do well. Just some policy updates, and National Technical Honor Society introduction was held this week, or last week there, and senior recognition on May 14th. And other than that, that's about it.
B, Intermediate Unit report. Board meeting minutes from March meeting are attached. C, correspondence.
No correspondence.
Okay. D, Technology Committee report update.
We had a meeting on March 31st. We talked about the 2 policies in front of you, policy 15, and we back from together that. We also talked about a camera system as quorum, as a weapons detection AI system. Aaron Hill Valley School District and that system. We're just working on that right now. It may be something bringing to the point, ending on the overall We also took a look at the budget. We talked about second grade education technology. We talked about the internet, the high school preparing for testing. Talked to, and that was it for the evening.
Athletic Committee report,
We have not had a meeting.
Financial Committee update.
Nuggets.
Thank you. Football Committee update.
How about that?
Thank you. Auditorium Committee update.
We haven't met. We've just been, every other Monday, we meet with the architect and the company and as well as the project manager. We did have a meeting this morning, just trying to buckle up loose.
Thank you.
Thanks, Wes. Any other old business to discuss? We do have one item under new business. We need a motion to approve a field trip for Mrs. Schreck's fourth grade class to the Bowling Impossible Ice Cream at no cost to the district. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Can I have a motion to adjourn? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you, guys. Have a great evening.